Hey there, y'all. This is Jack, and today we are discussing Record of Ragnarok's very own Hercules, God of Fortune, Envoy of Justice, the man himself, Hercules, which is again so cool to see. I gotta say here, Hercules, an excellent choice to pick as a fighter for the gods in Record of Ragnarok, of course, and presumably one of the most well-known, or if the most well-known god in all of Record of Ragnarok, versus a human, Jack the Ripper, the human of all the fighters that we know of, the one we know least about. So very interesting dynamic between the two, and of course Jack representing all of the evils of mankind, Hercules representing all the good and just of the gods. So very interesting duo here, where again the gods are against the humans, but Hercules is genuinely a good guy versus Jack, where we're supposed to root for him, but he's a legit evil person. So again, very interesting dynamic we have here. All right, so before we jump right into this character analysis, if you like content like this, please consider subscribing. If not, hopefully I'm able to entertain y'all. All right, let's just jump right in, shall we? All right, we'll go in chronological order of Hercules when we saw him as a child named Ulysses at this point, and then we'll go up to his eventual fight with Jack. So yeah, first time we see Hercules, he's actually again very young at this point, probably in his early adolescence, as he sees a kid being beat up by some bullies. His the boy's name I believe is Castaro. Again, forgive me, Greece. I am sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name right. And of course Hercules just being outstanding guy, trying to help him out, and he gets beat up too. But that's just the way he is. He's just that one. He's just that kind of guy that he wants to do the right thing, even though it's not the easiest thing to do. And he does it. He'll train. He'll try to train his hardest, and even if that means taking the harder road, he will do that to get stronger and to be able to protect the people that he wants to protect. Even if it means taking on a boar, then he gets defeated by a boar so easily. Then when his friend comes by, offers him some food, Hercules is like, "No, I don't deserve that. I got defeated." But his friend's like, Castro was like, you got to eat it, man, if you want to keep your strength. And he reluctantly eats it. And then they kind of talk about, hey, you get stronger by drinking the blood of Zeus up in that temple. And Hercules like, I'm not sure about that. So even some of the bullies get in on this, kind of make a joke about it. And of course, later that happens after Ares comes in, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill y'all, because you humans have been just getting too much of a trouble, and we just have to take care of y'all because the gods had a election if they should annihilate the humans, and of course Shiva and Aphrodite all for it. But the area that's mostly devastating is Greece, and Ares volunteers to take care of it. He goes there. Ulysses tries to takes on Ares, and Ares is actually genuinely surprised by these humans' bravery against him, and Ares is willing to actually let him live because of his bravery. But of course Hercules does not take it, and he drinks Zeus's blood from the, again, I am so sorry, Greece, Ambrosia. Yeah, he drinks it, and his body looks like it gets charred and burned. And Ares is like, yeah, what'd you expect to happen, human? All right, let's continue. Hercules stops him with his club, and then we get the Ares' guards coming into a fight. Hercules, and we just cut to the end of the fight where Hercules and Ares are just facing off, and all of the Ares' vanguard are just dead. So yeah, Hercules is already incredibly powerful. This is him taking on Ares, and even Ares is like, yeah, if this continues on, I'm probably gonna die. And as they about to deliver a final blow against each other, Zeus comes and stops him and offers him, "Hey Hercules, this is pretty impressive you did here, but if you stay around the humans, you might cause some trouble and accidentally get some people killed. So why don't you become a god?" And Hercules is like, "Oh really? Well all right, I'll take you up on your offer. Only one condition: you guys never ever try to wipe out humanity again." And Zeus makes a deal, which we will come back to later at the end of this video on my thoughts on that. But let's continue. And then as Hercules is accepting the offer, he kind of falls down, and his best friend Castro arrives, to help him up, and is happy to hear that about Hercules. And then Hercules goes up to. We get some time later as Hercules. Well, at least he becomes Hercules and gets a crown put on him, and that turns his hair red. And then that's when he officially becomes the son of Zeus. He takes Zeus's wife's name, Hera, and that's how he becomes Hercules, which is actually pronounced Heracles, but Hercules is the far more popular name for him because Heracles is actually the Roman version of Hercules' name. But yeah. um, so yeah, then we get to him and Brunhilde's talk where Goal's happy to see him. And Hercules like, yep, I'm the one that's up next. So I can't wait to fight. A worthy human. And he goes off, and Brunhilde is like, okay, I know exactly who to put him up against, which is very, very messed up of Brunhilde. But I can't blame her. She's trying to save humanity, so you got to do what you got to do to even win, right? Even though if you have such a great brother like Hercules, right? You got to do whatever it takes. And we get this conversation with Loki and Hercules as they both talk as Loki was kind of eavesdropping on Hercules' and Brunhilde's conversation, and Loki just kind of goes out and says, "So whose side are you really on?" And Hercules is like, "I'm on the side of just. And when this tournament is over, I will be fighting for the humans." So again, I like that. I like that line a lot. Like Hercules, he's fighting. He's obviously fighting on the side of the gods. He should fight on the side of the humans, to be honest. But he's on their side. But he's not going to stand by and let the humans get annihilated. So I actually do like that that line was thrown in, because we're going to talk about him and the humans thing later on. All right. And of course, when Hercules and Jack face off, Hercules just kind of goes off on Brunhilde, saying, how could you do this? Setting me up to fight a monster like this when you had like noble men fighting before him. And he goes up against Jack, and again, Jack just runs, and Hercules is just trying to trying to hit him, sets up traps. Hercules breaks through him. He's like, yeah, obviously human weapons can't do nothing to a god. And of course, Jack sets up weapons, of course, with his Volding, and he sets it up, and Hercules eventually gets impaled by so many knives. And Hercules just fears, gets all the knives and crushes them, and he tries to end the fight, but Jack is just one slippery son of a gun. And then that's when we see Hercules using his power with his club, the Exodus, which essentially turns his club into like a form of his sixth labor, the bird's Scyphia. It just swipes the knives and the thread that Jack saw and just sends them flying off. And then that's when we learned that whenever he uses these powers of the labors, the 12 labors that he achieved, the more that the tattoo on him grows on his body, and if it eventually overcomes his entire body, he will die. But even if the tattoos grow an inch, it causes severe pain, which we actually never ever see Hercules admit. It just goes to show us how strong his will is. So again, I like that a lot. I like that we never see him, agonize. We just see the sizzling on his skin. But besides that, Hercules is always dead set on his goal. I love that a lot. And then, of course, later on, Jack, throws the Big Ben clock tower right at Hercules and severs his arm. And that's when Hercules figures out. He's the first god to figure out. Okay, so yeah, your real weapons are your gloves, aren't they? The ones they touch anything and they become whatever could hurt a god, a divine weapon. And Jack's like, yeah, congrats, you figured it out. And then they kind of both have a talk with each other, as Hercules points out. So as he's disappointed, and Jack is saying, so you lost. And Jack's like, what are you talking about? And Hercules kind of goes on and says, you lost. The world beat you. That's why you're evil. You let the world just consume you, and you just festered and just took in your desires of killing. And then Hercules just lists off a bunch of things on why humans suck. But he does say, even regardless of all that, I still love humans. And Jack kind of gets a look like, wow, like this dude's someone else. Like, I've never seen a guy like this before. And I really like that, like Hercules, because again, Hercules is a human. He's a human, but he sees it. He can see a perspectives of both sides because he's been fighting for the gods for so long. That he was born a human, so he could see exactly what Jack's coming from. That Jack is a human, but he lost in a sense of that he gave in to his temptations and just goes on killing sprees because he's just that evil of a dude. But Hercules is like, you know what? I'm gonna free you, and Jack's like, all right, try it, boy. And then they go on for a little more fighting as Hercules uses his new technique as he summons a whirlwind. He throws his club into the sky and unleashes his 12th labor Cerberus. As it's so cool because you see Cerberus emerge from the swirl in the sky and chomps down right on Hercules. Hercules gets this form, which again is very cool. I like it a lot. And him and Jack obviously go right at it. And Jack, of course, we all know how the fight ends. Jack gets hit twice, like one by backhand and one on like a graze, and Jack survives it. All right, so again, very very crazy here for Jack's endurance feats. But of course, Jack and Hercules continue to fight, and yeah, Jack, literally barely manages the victory because he goes up and pretends he's gonna pass out as Hercules is gonna deliver the final blow on Jack, and Jack soaks his gloves in his own blood and just stabs right through Hercules' chest. And Hercules like, yeah, you got me. And he's like, but before he could do anything, he reaches out and hugs Jack as he tells Jack, um, so have my colors changed? And Jack's like, nope, you're still the same. I still see love in you. And again, yeah, this actually changes Jack in a way. Like, Jack just he witnessed love like his mother once gave him, and he's very happy to see that. He's happy to see a god like him, even though they're in a fight to the death. That Hercules never changed. In his last moments before he died, he didn't change. He still wants humanity to win. His love for humans still remained. And as he's dying, he says, Brihilde, I apologize for yelling at you, but please do save the humans. I am rooting for you guys. And yeah, Hercules dies, and Jack is actually very sad to see that because Jack says, you know what, I like to see him one day again, but of course we know that'll never happen. And then next time we see Jack and when he's talking to Goal smiles, and she reminds Jack of Hercules' smile, and he's just very happy to see that. And then the last time we ever see anything of Hercules is when Brihilde is walking into her room and we see a bunch of holograms, and we see Hercules there with the words justice that's what he represented amongst the fighters. So again, very very cool. I love this character a lot. Um, okay, so it comes down to the rating, and this is a bit difficult, I gotta say, of this character because I like Hercules a lot, but he loves humans and he'll fight for the humans. He does not want them to get annihilated. But in the beginning of chapter one, this is a big. I do believe this is somewhat of a retcon for Record Ragnarok. Not a big one as big as Adamus, but I do believe that this is a big not as big a big retcon that Hercules should have actually spoken up. I honestly legit he should have, but Berhelde obviously said it. I wish in the anime we got that Hercules was about to, but Berhelde beat him to it. I think that would just fix this problem in the anime. But in the manga, if they ever want to add an extra page or a few panels, I think that benefit this story quite a bit. But yeah. So Hercules again, that whole thing with Hercules not speaking up to wanting to protect the humans, as the gods were about to elect to annihilate them in the beginning, that does hurt Hercules' character just a bit. Because again, we could assume that he was one of the ones that voted not to kill them. Obviously, he would, right? But why why didn't he speak out against Zeus and say, hey, didn't we have an agreement that you guys weren't going to annihilate the humans? Yeah, so that does hurt Hercules a bit, I gotta say, which is very, very unfortunate. Because I do like this character, and he's part of the one of the two greatest rounds in Ragnarok. Again, all the rounds in Ragnarok are really good, but the top tiers are two of them, and Jack vs Hercules is definitely up there, one of the top two. I'd say definitely objectively. But yes, again, this is the only unfortunate thing for all the God fighters really is this one. I'd say so. Yeah, Hercules does get hurt a bit here, so I unfortunately have to give him a 6. It hurts me. It really does. A 6 out of 10. I like Hercules a lot. I like his dynamic with Jack the Ripper, but you do like everything else of him just works very well. It's just that one small bit, which does put him down a bit to 6. Because all the other characters like Lubu and Thor, which I rate 7s, they're consistent. They're like, I don't want to say plain, but they're consistent and pretty good for their characters. But Hercules, he does have a bit of that not character assassination, but that inconsistency of his character, which is very unfortunate. But that's the way it's got to be, and I want to be set a standard, that I'm fair even to my this series I love so much. So that's my conclusion there. And before I end this video, let me just say my favorite and least favorite moments, and I'll be curious to hear what your guys' favorite and least favorite moments are of Hercules. My least favorite moment is obviously the part with Hercules, not standing up for mankind. That's obviously a big one for me. And my favorite moment is kind of him when he gives Jack that smile, the one where where Jack's like ready to throw down again. Jack's like, yeah, I'm gonna change your color, and Hercules like, all right, come and try change it. I really like that moment because like it's not the battle of strengths, but it's the battle of ideologies at that point of Jack's gonna use his evilness to change Hercules' color, and Hercules like, all right, give it your best shot, and obviously Jack tries and fails, and Jack admits, yeah, I lost this one. And yeah, again, very very good fight, very beautiful fight. These two characters, I really love them a lot. And yeah, what can I say more about Hercules? Hercules is just a great guy. I like this character, and it's a shame he has to die, but that's the way things go in Ragnarok, right? And it's very very unfortunate, but but again, that's why we love him so much, right? So yeah, anyway, that concludes my Hercules review, and I hope you guys have a great day and take care. Later.